Across the Seattle region, we've witnessed a couple of earthquakes in the past couple of days. They all carry their significance, as one of them, 27 miles deep in the Cascadia subduction zone, has drawn the most attention. It sits on the offshore Regia, which is another interesting indicator. The majority of the Washington area subsides north, but that is just one of the deep earthquakes that have struck Washington. There are a few more that happened a bit further in the Cascadia area. On the northern coast of Oregon, an activity of 43 epicenters of tremor has been notched, and although we can say that this region is a bit safer, if we go a bit further east, around Entiat, we'll be looking at some other developments. Activity of 1.1 has been notched there as we move forward to a very well-known area for the earthquake followers, Mount Rainier. Constant earthquake activity has been noticed here over the past couple of days, with the magnitudes being around 0.8. Despite the increased number, the depth is not that worrying. We're talking about surface events. For those of you who don't know, surface events usually mean rockfall, ice, or strong winds. But if you were to look at the seismic data, it would give you the impression that legitimate earthquakes have happened in this region. This is happening at the northern part of Mount Rainier. If we are to go a bit more to the west, we'll see another activity. At the northern part, it's precisely where the swarm ended up migrating off to. On the other measuring point, St. Andrews Rock, you can see some activities that are likely still ongoing, but the pattern is quite difficult to understand. Because it's at the southwestern side of the volcano, it's a bit more challenging to get a full grasp of the nature of the activity that's going on here. The good part is that there is no sign of any magma movement as of now, but still, the earthquake activities are here to keep us entertained, and some of them have been more interesting to look at compared to the others. If you are to look at this earthquake that happened just across the Cascadia, you'll notice that it happened in very shallow waters. The magnitude was not something to worry too much about, 1.5, but it's still worth noting it as we speak. Other areas haven't been as calm as you would normally emphasize. Let's go a bit more on the south and focus on the area of Petrolia. 2.5 and 1.2 magnitude earthquakes have struck this region late at night, but nothing too shabby and nothing to stress your minds over. One of the most problematic areas in the USA, San Francisco's Bay, has been calm with some earthquakes around 1.5 magnitude. But if we go a bit south, around Southern California, things are changing a little bit. Hey, who said that we forgot about Yellowstone? If we look at the activity around the Hebgen Lake Estates, we can see that things haven't been as calm as you would normally project them. But it's nothing too big, just some small earthquake activities to keep our minds entertained. The good part about Yellowstone is that the caldera region seems pretty calm, so there's nothing to worry about on that end. Moving to Texas, and we always have to be extremely careful here because of the oil fields. 33 earthquakes, while none of them raise alarm about a national disaster, it's still worth reporting on them as they've happened. New Madrid, a rather alarming zone to watch, as well as Tennessee, has decided to give us a little bit of rest this time, with no significant earthquakes to report. And when it comes to the USA, that's the latest update that we can give you. However, let's move on to Indonesia and the Banda Sea region. The biggest magnitude here was 6.3, and following that earthquake, a couple of aftershocks have troubled the locals, and then around the Banda Sea, deeper quakes have caused some trouble, with two back-to-back earthquakes and then a shallower one following a bit northeast on the land of Papua New Guinea. It's a region that can always give you alarming threats for earthquakes. If you look at things precisely, you can easily report that there have been 3 moderate-sized earthquakes that have troubled the region of Indonesia, one that is famous for its ground instability. And when we say deep, we really mean it. 325 miles is not a number to be messed around with, and luckily, it didn't actually result in something more dangerous or alarming to the environment. Still, these movements are putting us on the alert. We need to be very cautious as to what's going to happen next, because that region could easily suffer from some bigger quakes as we speak. The largest earthquake that was registered in this region was 8.5, but it happened quite a while ago, back in 1938. In that same cluster, the most recent one that happened was in 2023 with a magnitude of 7.6. All in all, that's considered to be a mega quake territory for us. And just because we haven't seen one in the past couple of months, it doesn't mean we should be on full alert mode. The area needs to be supervised closely, and although there is no migration to the west, it can always happen in real time as well. The aftershocks from that 6.3 earthquake have been felt all the way to Turkey, so it's definitely something worth paying attention to as we go further with our analysis. Just off the coast of Chile, we can see an earthquake activity of 3.2 magnitude, and heading a bit north, Peru hasn't been spared either. An earthquake of 5.0 magnitude has been notched deep into the subduction zone of the Peru-Chile Trench, or more precisely 21 miles west of Puerto Santa. It's a very big subduction zone as we speak, and let's not forget that the largest ever earthquake back in 1960 was recorded here with a strength of 9.5 magnitudes. The Middle America Trench does seem like one we need to be paying close attention to, primarily because of the two earthquakes that have happened recently. We've seen a big number of earthquakes in that region recently, so there is